So good morning everyone. Today we are going to learn about common inborn errors of amino acid metabolism. I'm Dr. Puneet Saxena, Associate Professor Biochemistry, Government Medical College, Surat. And as I told you, today we are going to discuss or learn about common inborn errors of amino acid metabolism. So the learning objectives of this session are, at the end of the session, students should enlist common metabolic disorders of amino acid metabolism. He should identify the enzyme defect related with the particular inborn error of metabolism of amino acid. Students shall be able to write or describe clinical feature and their biochemical basis, and diagnosis and screening of amino acid metabolic disorders. So, inborn error of amino acid metabolism are a heterogeneous group of disorders which are abnormalities either in the synthesis or transport or turnover of amino acids. This may result in the amino acid accumulation and entering into the alternate pathway that result in the toxic metabolism. So basically, either there is a defect in the synthesis or the transport of amino acid or turnover of amino acid, which result in the accumulation or building up of some intermediate metabolites which have the toxic effects. This can be very well explained by the Gerard hypothesis. According to Gerard hypothesis, a genetically determined biochemical disorder in which a specific enzyme defect produces a metabolic block, and that may have a pathological consequences at birth. Say for example, a product is being converted from A to B and B to C. This is a common metabolic pathway. Product is converted to B and B to C. And because of some reason, either due to mutation of a gene or something, some other problem, there is deficiency of or inactivity of enzyme which catalyze conversion of B to C. So C cannot be produced, so the deficiency of produced product C, as well as because of increased concentration of B, it will be diverted into other metabolic pathways which lead to building of a toxic metabolites which is responsible for the these two activities, means product deficiency and buildup of toxic metabolites are the metabolic basis of the sign and symptoms of that particular disease. We can classify inborn error of metabolism in different ways based on the defect and based on the product or substrate which is accumulated. We talk about based on the defect. There may be defective or deficient enzymes, or defective transport or storage of a particular metabolism. We talk about based on the product substrate accumulated, there may be organic acidemias or particular amino acidopathies. Defective metabolism is associated with disorders like phenylketonuria, tyrosinemia, alkaptonuria, albinism, maple syrup urine disease or MSCUD, homocystinemia, carbamyl phosphatase 1 deficiency, ornithyl transcarbamylase deficiency. These are defective metabolism, which is basically either deficiency of one or other enzyme or a cofactor. And there are other disorders which are due to a defective transport of amino acid, like cystinuria, cystinosis, Hartnup diseases, lysiniuric protein intolerance. These are due to defective transport of a particular amino acid. So we begin with the inborn error of amino acid metabolism. In this category, we'll be discussing phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, and tyrosinemias. We begin with the phenylketonuria. This is also known as Fowling's disease or phenylpyruvate, and this is autosomal recessive inheritance. If you remember the metabolism of phenylalanine, phenylalanine is acted upon by phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. This converts phenylalanine to tyrosine. So, phenylalanine deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase is a cause of phenylketonuria. Another cause of phenylketonuria may be deficiency of dihydropterin reductase enzyme. See, dihydropterin is used in the regeneration of again phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. So, biopterin is converted to tetrahydrobiopterin. Dihydrobiopterin is converted to tetrahydrobiopterin. This requires dihydropterin reductase enzyme. This is NADH dependent enzyme. So, diapterin reductase enzyme also causes the phenylketonuria. The classical example of phenylketonuria, classical cause of phenylketonuria is phenylalanine hydroxylase deficiency, while variant may be because of the dihydropterin reductase enzyme. The clinical features of phenylketonuria are mental retardation, which is a very classical feature, learning disabilities, mousy odor, seizures and convulsions, hypopigmentation of skin, eczema and skin rashes. Now, why these features happen? We'll discuss the biochemical basis in the coming slides. The biochemical basis of clinical features are, first of all, as you know, phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine, and the enzyme is phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. So, if this enzyme is deficient, the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine conversion is not possible. As a result of this, there's increased concentration of phenylalanine. This phenylalanine is acted upon by transaminase reaction enzyme, and this will be converted to phenyl pyruvate, and phenyl pyruvate again will be converted to phenyl lactate and phenyl acetate. These two things are responsible for the mousy odor of the these are excreted in the urine, and this is responsible for the mousy odor in the patients of phenylketonuria. Then what happens? Tyrosine is also not there. One more thing is that now this phenyl acetate, especially phenyl acetate, condenses with glutamine and form the phenyl acetyl glutamate. This phenyl acetyl glutamate is responsible for the eczematous lesions or skin rashes and other dermatological symptoms. As you know, tyrosine is also not being converted, so there is deficiency of tyrosine. Now, what will happen? Again, there's because of decreased tyrosine, there's decreased thyroid hormone synthesis. As you know, the thyroid T3, T4, TSH are all synthesized from the tyrosine. So there is decreased thyroid hormones. As a result of there is hypothyroidism. Decreased tyrosine is also responsible for the decreased synthesis of catecholamines. As you know, epinephrine, norepinephrine and dopamine all are synthesized from the tyrosine. So a decreased tyrosine results in a decreased synthesis of catecholamines, which is responsible for the neurological symptoms of the phenylketonuria. There is also a decreased melanin synthesis, which is associated with the albinism. And one more thing is that the decreased tyramine. So, symptoms are mainly because of deficiency of tyrosine as well as built-up of phenylalanine, which is diverted to other pathways, and formation of other metabolites which are responsible for the mousy odor, glutamine and eczematous lesions. Now, one more thing is that the cause of mental retardation can be due to two things. First of all, it has been observed that phenyl lactate and phenyl pyruvate has the toxic effect on the brain, as well as there is because of decreased tyrosine, the decreased synthesis of catecholamines, which is responsible for the neurological symptoms. It is also believed that mental retardation also due to decreased protein synthesis of the brain because of increase of the brain, and this may be due to either increased concentration of phenylalanine decreases the transport of amino acids into the brain. So this could be other cause of mental retardation. The mental retardation is generally seen in the third week of begins with the third week of life. So another variant, as I told you, is dihydropterin reductase deficiency, which is also called the phenylketonuria or type 2. And this may be, there may be a block in the synthesis of tetrahydropterin from GTP in PKU, that is also that is known as type 3 PKU. These two result in the decreased conversion of phenylalanine into the tyrosine. An important thing is that, as you can see in the again this deficiency of dihydropterin reductase enzyme. So tetrahydropterin is also required for hydroxylation tyrosine tryptophan, and deficiency of this result in the decreased synthesis of dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine from tyrosine. Serotonin and melanin are synthesized from the tryptophan. The classical abnormalities in phenylketonuria type 2 and type 3 are, they are more severe, they appear early in the life, and they do not improve despite the diet manipulation. In classical PKU or type 1 PKU, if there is dietary manipulation like decreased phenylalanine in the diet, the condition of the patient usually improves if the patient is kept on the controlled or less phenylalanine diet till the age of 6 years. Usually the patient recovers. But in variants of PK, especially type 2 and type 3, conditions are more severe, the more mental retardation, and there is no role of dietary manipulation because it is basically the deficiency of dihydrobiopterin reductase enzyme. As far as the diagnosis and screening is concerned, this ferric chloride test, which is on addition of 10% ferric chloride test to the fresh sample of urine, phenyl pyruvate in the acidic medium. Urine gives green or blue color or greenish bluish color typical, which fades in 2 or 3 minutes. So this is very transient reaction. Especially test is more positive with fresh sample of urine. And next is Guthrie's test. Guthrie's test is growth of a Guthrie bacteria on agar plate, which is PT2 phenylalanine, which is a competitive inhibitor of phenylalanine. So this is another confirmatory test. This is not exactly confirmatory test, but it is a side-by-side test. Another way of diagnosis is increased serum and urinary level of phenylalanine and its metabolite, which can be assessed by chromatographically, either HPLC or tandem mass spectrometry. The excessive urinary excretion of phenylalanine, which also can be detected by HPLC. Other are genetic screening, reference RFLP and prenatal diagnosis, a confirmation mutation PH gene in chronic villus sampling prenatally. But in most of the countries, neonatal screening is preferred. So early diagnosis, it should be within 3 weeks after birth. Low phenylalanine diet, below, that is the level of phenylalanine should be kept below 6 milligram per deciliter. A tyrosine supplementation. Tyrosine supplementation is necessary because phenylalanine cannot be converted to tyrosine. So in this condition, phenylalanine becomes the essential amino acids. And screening of newborn is done in many countries where the prevalence or incidence of phenylketonuria is high. For that, sample is taken from the idle heel prick, and it has become a policy in most of the Western world for the screening of newborn metabolic disorders. The reason behind this is early diagnosis, the better prognosis of the patient. Next comes to the alkaptonuria. Alkaptonuria was the first condition in which Mendelian recessive inheritance was proposed. This is again, like many other inborn of metabolism, this is also autosomal recessive disorders. In India, this incidence is around 2 to 5 per million live births. And the basic defect is homogentisic acid oxidase, deficiency of homogentisic acid oxidase enzyme. So if you remember the tyrosine metabolism, homogentisic acid is formed, which is converted into mallyl acetoacetate through by enzyme homogentisic oxidase enzyme. So any deficiency, if you remember the phenyl converted to homogentisate, this is pathway, and deficiency of homogenetic acid oxidase, or we can say homogenetic 1,2-dioxygenase enzyme is the cause of alkaptonuria. The clinical features are dark stain on baby's diaper, one of the most earliest sign of alkaptonuria. Symptoms become more noticeable after ages, such as a dark spot in the sclera of eye, thickened and darkened cartilage in the ears, blue speckled discoloration of skin, and particularly around the sweat glands. And there is osteoarthritis, especially of hip and knee joints. One of the classical features of alkaptonuria is the urine become dark when it is exposed to the air. So if the urine is freshly voided, it is normally colorless, but if it's kept for some time, it becomes darker. So dark stain on baby's diaper is the earliest sign of alkaptonuria. Otherwise, babies are mainly asymptomatic, and the symptoms may appear as the child becomes mainly in the adult or adolescent age. Biochemical basis of clinical features are, first of all, as you know, homogenetic acid is converted into mallyl acetoacetate by homogenetic acid oxidase, and there is deficiency of this enzyme. So homogenetic acid is converted to benzoquinone acetic acid. This benzoquinone acetoacetic acid binds with the collagen fibers, causing ochronosis and arthritis. It's excreted in the urine, causes a darkening of urine or alkalization, or if it is standing, a calcification of coronary artery and cartilage. These are two important things are, as you can see, this deposition of benzoquinone acetic deposit in the crystals and binds with the also binds with the epiphysis of joints, causes osteoarthritis. There is also calcification of coronary artery and the cartilages. This is also involved for the this is a reason of osteoarthritis. Treatment of alkaptonuria is vitamin C supplementation and nitisinone, which is an inhibitor of enzyme 4-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate dehydrogenase, which drastically reduces the urinary excretion of homogenetic acid in the individuals with alkaptonuria. So the treatment is again the early diagnosis and vitamin C supplementation and nitisinone, which is inhibitor of hydroxyphenyl pyruvate dehydrogenase enzyme. These two are frequently asked in the exam. Next is tyrosinemia. Tyrosinemia, this is another inborn of tyrosine metabolism. The plasma tyrosine level is increased in tyrosinemia, and tyrosine, its metabolite, are excreted in the urine. There are two types of tyrosinemia type 1 and type 2. Deficiency of fumarate hydrolase enzyme causes tyrosinemia type 1, and deficiency of tyrosine transaminase causes tyrosinemia type 2. This is the pathway where you can see tyrosine is converted to acted upon by tyrosine transaminase enzyme, and it is converted to para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate, and deficiency of this enzyme is a cause of type 2 tyrosinemia, while fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase enzyme, which converts fumarate acetoacetate to the acetoacetate, a deficiency of this enzyme is called the tyrosinemia type 1. So tyrosinemia type 1 is this built up of succinyl acetoacetate and succinyl acetone, which inhibits the porphobilin synthase, and they affect the heme synthesis and increase risk of hepatocellular carcinoma. One more thing is that a high level tyrosine in the blood are noted, and patient of tyrosinemia type 1 has a cabbage-like odor. This is because of accumulation of alpha keto gamma methyl butyric acid, and there is increased excretion of delta amino levulinic acid in the acute crisis. The reason behind this is because of decreased porphobilinogen synthesis. The patients are more developed for hepatocellular carcinoma and cirrhosis, and sometimes they may only present with the later life with cirrhosis or hepatocellular carcinoma. While tyrosinemia type 2 is because of tyrosine aminotransferase deficiency. It's also known as Richter-Hanhart syndrome or oculocutaneous type of tyrosinosis. The presence of skin or eye lesions along with the elevated blood tyrosine level. Albuminism is again disorder of tyrosine because, as you know, the melanin pigment is synthesized from the tyrosine. Albinism includes spectrum of clinical syndrome characterized by hypomelanosis arising from inherited defect in the pigment cells of eyes and skins. Albinism can be classified in two ways based on the involvement of the tissue, oculocutaneous and ocular. Oculocutaneous, both patient is having ocular symptoms as well as hypopigmentation, while ocular, the patient is only having ocular symptoms, especially and based on tyrosine activity, they are classified as a tyrosinase positive or tyrosinase negative type of patients. As you can see, tyrosine is converted into dopaquinone and cysteine leukodopachrome. The deficiency of tyrosinase is the cause of this albinism. And then we come to the inborn error for branch chain amino acid metabolism. There are a group of disorders basically. As you remember, the branch chain amino acids are valine, leucine and isoleucine. So this combined disorders which include deficiency of involvement of valine, isoleucine, leucine and leucine metabolic disorders. These enzymes catalyze the first two reaction because the enzyme which catalyze the first two reaction of the this branch chain amino acids are common. So what happens? Valine, leucine and isoleucine are converted into they are acted upon by a branch chain amino acid transaminase enzyme. So valine is converted into alpha keto isovaleric acid. Leucine is converted into alpha keto isocaproic acid, and isoleucine is converted into alpha keto beta methyl valeric acid. The next reaction, these all are acted upon by another enzyme which is known as beta keto isovaleric dehydrogenase enzyme, which convert alpha keto isovaleric acid into isobutyryl coenzyme A, alpha keto isocaproic acid into isovalerial coenzyme A, and beta keto methyl valeric acid into the alpha methyl butyryl coenzyme A. And maple syrup urine disease or branch is basically due to deficiency of keto isovaleric dehydrogenase enzyme. The enzyme deficiency leads to accumulation of increased urinary excretion of branch chain amino acids like valine, isoleucine and leucine because they cannot be metabolized, and their keto derivatives like alpha keto isovaleric acid, alpha keto caproic acid, etc. And this impart from the typical maple syrup smell or odor into the urine, or we can say the maple syrup or we can say the burnt sugar like odor of the urine. Clinical signs and symptoms appear in the within first week of birth. Neonate is basically lethargic, having vomiting and aversion to the food, which are early sign, which is followed by severe brain damage and ultimately the death. Treatment consists of exclusion of branch chain amino acid from the diet. This is required till the plasma level falls to the normal. Thereafter, the intake is restricted so as to maintain their plasma level to the safe condition. The milder variant of maple syrup urine disease, which is intermittent branch chain ketonuria, in this the decrease in the enzyme activity is only moderate, and the signs and symptoms are milder and appears much later in the life. the excretion of branching alpha keto acids is intermittently increased. Next is an inborn error of sulfur-containing amino acids. First of all is cystinuria. So till now we were discussing either all the metabolic disorders which are caused due to deficiency of certain enzymes, while cystinuria is another category of disorder where there is defect in the transport or defect in the absorption of amino acids. So in cystinuria there is a defect in the tubular resorption of cystine. So the urine, there is excretion of cystine in or urinary excretion of cystine is increased, which is being sparingly soluble. So cystine deposit in the kidneys and from the cystine stones. These effects also involve the defective resorption of lysine, arginine, ornithine. So you can remember in cases of cystinuria, cola is passed. Cola is cystine, ornithine, lysine, and arginine. These 4 amino acids are which are passed in the urine, and this is most of the time is asked as MCQ in various competitive exams. Next disorder of sulfur-containing amino acid is homocystinuria, which is very important. This occurs because of cystathionine synthase enzyme deficiency. This is a very serious kind of disorders. Again, this is autosomal recessive disorder. This impaired conversion of methionine into the cystine, and homocysteine accumulates and convert into homocysteine. Clear? So homocysteine accumulate and convert into homocysteine, and homocysteine is made up of 2 homocysteine molecules. There is increased urinary excretion of homocysteine, and plasma methionine homocysteine levels are also increased. Clinical features are thrombocytopenia, osteoporosis, dislocation of or subluxation of lens in the eyes. Patient are having mental retardation. See, mental retardation is a common symptom of amino acid metabolism. One important feature is ischemic vascular diseases, which is classical feature of homocystinuria. And most of the time, the serum homocysteine level is also considered as increased system homocysteine level is considered as another risk factor for the coronary artery diseases. The biochemical basis of symptoms are this accumulation of homocysteine, so which causes abnormal cross-linking of collagen. Because of this, there is abnormality in the ground substance of walls of blood vessels. This causes inflammatory changes, and there is increased platelet additions. So increased possibility of thromboembolism. Because of defective collagen synthesis or cross-linking, there is dislocation of ocular lenses and osteogenesis osteoporosis due to abnormal collagen. And thrombotic phenomena are more common because of abnormality in the walls of blood vessels. The increased platelet additions and abnormal vessels causes increased risk of ischemic heart diseases, increased risk of cerebral thrombosis, and peripheral vascular disorders like gangrene in the peripheral extremities and other things. So ischemic vascular disease occur at very young ages, and sometimes patients usually present with either peripheral vascular disorders or ischemic vascular disorders, and that too in 20s or 30s. And serum homocysteine level is considered as a new cholesterol because of its propensity to cause ischemic vascular disorders. Excuse me. As far as the treatment is concerned, early diagnosis and the treatment prevent most of the clinical abnormalities. The treatment consists of low methionine, high cystine diet, and pyridoxal supplements may be given to activate the residual cystathionine synthase enzyme. And hyperhomocysteemia may occur due to deficiency of some vitamins, especially folic acid and vitamin B12. So their supplementation also corrects this abnormality. This is from exam point of view again very important disorder. Sometimes it generally has its relation with coronary artery diseases. Next disorder of sulfur-containing amino acid is hypermethionisemia. The enzyme defects are methionine adenosyl transferase type 1 or type 3 deficiency. There is also glycine and methyl transferase deficiency, or as adenosyl homocysteine hydrolase enzyme deficiency. This is again variable autosomal recessive, but sometimes it may be autosomal dominant also. Clinical features are most of the time it is asymptomatic, patients are asymptomatic. Main problem is associated with the transfer of methyl group, and patient is having cabbage-like odor of breath and sweat and urine. So you can remember the two disorders in which patients are having cabbage-like disorders. First is tyrosinemia type 1 and another one is hypermethionisemia. Next we move on to the other category of disorders which is known as, which are of minor role. Sometimes may be asked as MCQs in the exam. The first one is primary hyperoxaluria. Primary hyperoxaluria is a disorder of glycosylate metabolism. So glycosylate is formed from the hydroxyproline. We can say it's basically a disorder of proline metabolism because proline is converted to hydroxyproline, and hydroxyproline is forms the glycosylate. So primary hyperoxaluria is a disorder of glycosylate metabolism. Normally glycosylate is transmitted into glycine or oxidized to the formate. But what happens? Glycosylate is converted to oxalate when there is deficiency of glycine transaminase, or oxidation glycosylate is impaired due to any other reason. As a result of this, there is more and more oxalate which is excreted in the urine, which is a cause of formation of oxalate stone in the urine. So, the presenting feature, the clinical sign and symptoms are basically oxalate stones in the urinary tract, and the cause is nothing but the hyperoxaluria. Otherwise, the patients are asymptomatic. Next reason is amino acid disorder is histidinemia. This is an inborn error of histidine metabolism in which a histidase enzyme is deficient. Histidine is acted upon by histidase enzyme which is converted to urocanic acid and ammonia. So histidine cannot be converted to urocanic acid, and more and more concentration of there is increased concentration of histidine in the plasma. So histidine converted into some alternate metabolites like imidazole pyruvate, imidazole lactate, imidazole acetate. The alternate metabolites are excreted in the urine. Previously, it was believed that histidinemia is a cause of impaired development of speech. Later on, it was found that it is not correct. Most of the subjects with histidinemia have no symptoms, but sometimes they may develop some behavioral problem, especially when newborn is exposed to neonatal hypoxia. Otherwise, most of the patients are asymptomatic. Last in this category is Hartnup disease. So, previously it was diagnosed as a disorder of tryptophan metabolism. This is known as Hartnup disease because it was diagnosed in the Hartnup family for the first time. So, disease first it was diagnosed Hartnup family. That's why the name was given as Hartnup disease. Initially, it was thought that it is mainly a disorder of tryptophan metabolism, but later on it was showed that basically there is a transport defect involving all the neutral amino acids. So not only the pyruvate, tryptophan, all the neutral amino acids cannot be transported. There is intestinal absorption of neutral amino acid is impaired. As a result of this, renal tubular resorption of neutral amino acid is also impaired. This lead to massive loss of amino acids. So tryptophan, which is present in the gut, is converted into indole and hydroxyindole derivative by bacteria. These are absorbed and excreted in the urine. So diagnosis based on the increased indole and hydroxyindole derivative in the urine. The decreased availability of tryptophan causes decreased endogenous synthesis of niacin. This may produce a pellagra-like symptoms, and the treatment consists of high protein diet and niacin supplementation. That's all for today. Thank you very much.